thinking that education is kind of that bedrock for success, you are making a mistake, especially in the African region where we find ourselves.
If you cannot think critically, how do you identify problems?
You go to school, you spend your time, you burn your candle, you spend your money, you come out to do what? To get employed.
Education or entrepreneurship? Which path leads to greater personal fulfillment among African youth? This question is undoubtedly one of the most debated topics among the African youth in this part of the world. And in this first episode of the Street Debate, we're going to do justice to it. Now, who better to answer this question than academic professionals and successful entrepreneurs who have found personal fulfillment in their respective fields? Their first-hand account will provide insights into the unique rewards and challenges of pursuing either entrepreneurship or education and help you ascertain which is more advisable. Let's go. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, before we delve into the argument of today, I would like for us to start by defining the terms education and entrepreneurship. Let's start with Mr. Samson Edward, who is an educationist. So tell us, what's the definition, or how can you define education or entrepreneurship?
Okay, I would say that education is a process of acquiring or imparting knowledge and quickening the mind to think critically and solve problems.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Cassidy Ike, who is one of the advocates of entrepreneurship. So tell us, what is entrepreneurship in your term?
In my own term, I will say that entrepreneurship refers to owning your own business, doing what you want in order to earn a living from it. Thank you.
Let's have one more person define education. So want me to tell us, what's education in your regard?
Thank you so much. Education is all about acquiring knowledge that will help you advance in future.
One more person who is an advocate of entrepreneurship, Mr. Ideal John. So tell us, what's entrepreneurship? Since you're advocating entrepreneurship.
Yeah, okay. I would say entrepreneurship is all about being skillfully minded, being creative, and actually solving problems.
All right. Thank you. Now, having established the definitions or the meanings of these two terms, let's delve straight into the argument of the day. So, which path do you feel leads to greater personal fulfillment, especially for those individuals who are in this part of the world, which is Africa? Let's start with you, Mommy. So tell us, which part do you feel will lead to a greater personal fulfillment? Is it education or entrepreneurship?
In the first place, I'm not here to counter any, but personally speaking, I would choose the path of education. And also, you know that whatever you know will take you to where you're getting to. For instance, if I want to become the president of a particular country tomorrow, I don't think I can get to that height without being educated.
Okay, so let's take note of that. She says, if you have not been educated, you cannot be the president of any country. We don't know how true this is, but Mommy, just continue.
Yeah. Also, apart from that of the politics, into other professional institutions, if I want to be a medical doctor today, how can I get to the hospital? How can I take care of my patients if I didn't acquire that knowledge, if I wasn't trained in that particular field? How much more if I want to become a banker? How much more if I want to become a professor in education? I really need to acquire this knowledge so as to be an authority in that particular aspect, as also to be able to affect my world. But if I don't go to school, you know that those things might be in me, but I will not be able, to reach to that limit. I may live the rest of my life in regret.
Simone, what you're saying is, if you haven't been to school, you will not be able to affect your world, because I think it's something striking from what you said.
Yes, to affect my world in certain aspects. For instance, I made mention of medicine, I made mention of politics, I made mention of other institutions.
Sorry to cut you. Does it mean that other entrepreneurs do not affect the world in any way? Because you're just mentioning doctors, bankers, and the rest of them. So businessmen do not affect the world.
They do as well, but I'm trying to say that when you are educated, you are highly exposed. You have greater opportunity to express what you have to benefit your world. Mind you, there are many educationists today who have turned into entrepreneurs, and they are doing pretty well.
More than the entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at people like, I don't want to mention names, but if you permit me, I can go ahead and mention names.
Okay.
Yeah, there are many people who had gone to school after their degrees and they delved into business, and we can hear the names. People like Forbes, people like Obi Kubana, people like many, there are so many of them in Africa and beyond today. The kind of awareness they are creating in the society is as a result of their exposure. Meanwhile, there are these other people, they have made their money, but because of the, what I would call limitation, inferiority complex, they can't get so far to what they would have loved to do.
Okay.
So I am of the opinion that acquiring education is of a necessity.
All right, beautiful. Now let's come to Mr. Idealma, because I know why Mommy was talking. I know something was, going through your mind. She mentioned something. She said only people who have been, who have had the opportunity to go to school and get exposed are able to affect their world, are able to make impact. So what do you think about this?
I really want to counter what she said. She's very, very right.
Yes, which is the essence of this debate.
Education is good. Entrepreneurship is also good. It depends on personal judgment. Now, but I'm starting for entrepreneurship. Why? Let's look at the end product of education in most ways. Like in a normal way, you go to school, you spend your time, you burn your candle, you spend your money, you come out to do what? To get employed and receive your salary. Sometimes you get employed by an entrepreneur who doesn't even go to school, hasn't even attended to higher education. You understand? So you are there to...
Sorry, let me cut you. If entrepreneurs are saying, okay, they don't need to go to school before they are established, why then do they need to employ people that have gone to school to help them establish their businesses? Sorry that I cut you, but like I had to say that.
I get you. You can't actually be jack of all trade. Like you need somebody to help you out. You can actually employ somebody that is not educated and can do your work effectively. But sometimes you just need to like sign people who come to work for you, understand? So all I'm trying to say is that you sometimes don't really need education to even make it in life. Sometimes it pays not to be educated.
Oh, let's take note of that. It pays not to be educated.
I've seen it happen. And you'll be, taking orders strictly as if you're going to die for one.
Okay.
Yeah, you're educated.
All right, let me quickly go to Mr. Sampson, because he said something striking and I want to hear your thoughts. He said going to school just prepares you to work for someone. How true is that?
I think that's false.
Okay.
Because
so how is it false?
Going to school does not prepare you to work for someone.
What does it do if it doesn't prepare you to work for someone?
Going to school only quickens your mind. So
you're saying people who are entrepreneurs do not have quickened minds?
Not necessarily, but you are limited. Now, the thing is this: we are saying that education or entrepreneurship, which one leads to better fulfillment. For me personally, I feel education leads to a better fulfillment, but that's not discarding the fact that entrepreneurship is very, very important. Now, the thing is this: we have these arguments over time. People saying entrepreneurship is better than education. I think what we see on this topic is a catalyst of how we think in our society and what is obtainable in our environment. Now, we've been made to think that we've relegated education to be job training, but education is not basically job training. Education helps you to think. It gives you a mindset to solve problems. And if we talk about entrepreneurship is simply solving problem. It's a person who has an idea to discover opportunities and solve those problems. So if you cannot think critically, how do you identify problems? Now, he said that you don't need to be educated to be an entrepreneur. I want to take a different turn on that it's very, very important that you are educated, because even if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to know how to read, you need to know how to write. Basic maths, it's very important, even if it's not higher education, but the basic things are very, very important. So I want to say that education would take you to a better fulfillment than
all right. Let me quickly go to Mr. Cassidy Ike. While he was talking, he mentioned something that people who do not have education are limited. I don't know if you heard that. Right. He said they are limited. So what's your take on this? Do you think it's true that people who are entrepreneurs without going to school are limited? He mentions they do not have the exposure, they have some form of limitation, they only solve problems. So what's your take on this?
I don't think it's literally correct, because when you are a boss of your own, there is this confidence that you have being a boss of your own. You can think broadly. Okay, but what I want to say regarding this topic is it's funny enough that Nigerians are kind of embracing education where your system is already failed. You are living in a failed system and you are embracing education. Why not try entrepreneurship? I think in Nigeria.
So sorry, are you saying entrepreneurship is the solution rather to solving the problem that exists in the Nigerian setting?
Of course, because if you take a look at what is happening globally right now, you can see that most people that are making waves, they are entrepreneurs. For example, Elon Musk, our Facebook owner, he's also an entrepreneur.
Okay, so you think these people we mentioned didn't go to school?
No, it's not that they didn't go to school, but they kind of, they had that urge in them to establish something, and they went for it.
And you're saying education doesn't give you that urge to establish something?
No, what I'm saying is it's not that it doesn't give you that urge, okay, but like thinking that education is kind of that bedrock for success, you are making a mistake, especially in the African region where we find ourselves. Okay, you have to come out from school and then struggle to make a living. So you always studying, thinking that at the end of the day that there is a job that is waiting for you is a lie. It's totally lies. You understand? So you actually have to, come up, think about something, think and establish something on your own. You understand? If you look at what is happening in Nigeria statistically, or Africa, okay, let me just use Nigeria as an example. We have about 600,000 students graduating from school every year. Where is the job? So Nigerians coming up, or Africans coming up, I'm not saying all African, but Nigeria in particular, I'm using Nigeria as an example. Nigerians coming up saying that education, it gives that personal fulfillment. I stand to, I stand to question it, because the system you find yourself is already failed. It's a failed system already. So why can't you come out from that, a shackle or that comfort zone and then embrace entrepreneurship?
All right. Let's have quickly Ms. Martha Onwara.
I would like to say that education is very, very important, even in Africa here, as even in Nigeria. Why will I say that? He made mention of, as an entrepreneur, that you need to think critically for you to be able to do something. You thinking critically cannot just solve the problem, but you being equipped, because you can't just give what you don't have. You can only give what you have. Yes. So education is just the process that will equip you, that will build that confidence in you, that when you utilize it, you'll be able to bring out something physical that people will see and believe that, yeah, this person is really equipped. So in Nigeria here, we only have a problem of limiting ourselves. Those that are educated, they only have the mindset that after education, I need to work under somebody, but that is not it. When you are educated, you think diverse, you think wide. It will make you or enable you to know that being self-employed will pay you better than working under somebody. So if you're having that mind,
sorry, are you conflicting it a bit? Are you saying with education, instead of waiting or going to seek for a job, you get established as an entrepreneur? I think you are. It's a bit conflicting. Let me understand.
I'm not conflicting the point. What I'm saying is that after being educated, you can put into practice what you have learned.
Okay.
So in my own opinion, I think that entrepreneurship is just a subset of education.
Okay.
Because without
entrepreneurship is the final result of education.
Yes.
Right. Well, beautiful.
So in that sense, I think you being educated will give you a better result when you become an entrepreneur.
Beautiful. So our sister Martha just concluded by saying entrepreneurship is the end result of education. I find that a bit conflicting. Can someone who has counter views? Yes.
It's not really a counter view, just making contribution of education. First of all, we have to understand what education means. I heard brothers, the opponent of speaking on entrepreneurship, speaking of not being educated. First of all, you must understand the trade before you go into it. I'm not sure there is anyone that just wake up, goes into what you don't know of. So that process is education.
Beautiful.
You have formal and informal education. Even we are talking now, someone might just be at the back of it getting information. He's been educated on what is going on here. So what we are just trying to understand here is this. There is no house that is built without a foundation. You must.
The foundation is education?
Is education, whether formal or informal. As a matter of fact, every one of us, we had one way. Our parents educated us in their own way, but we wanted to go in advance. So that was why most of us went to school. Going to school is just advance. Trying to get more knowledge on the path you've set for yourself.
Advancing. So quickly, let's hear what Mommy Fina has to say concerning
Just
this.
building on what our brother just said, I think the confusion we are trying to have here is that the mindset that going to school will end you up in an office or working for someone. That is not the subject matter of the day. What we are trying to say is that it is good to be enlightened, it is good to acquire knowledge, it is good to know what you have to do before you go into it. It doesn't necessarily mean that if I graduate, I must sit down waiting to work for somebody. The essence of my being educated is for me to be well developed, to have the whole IQs needed so that I can delve into my area of profession. So that is why I said at the beginning that many people who got educated, they are also entrepreneurs. There are many people who have learned how to sew in the industry of fashion and designing. There are many people in the teaching sector. When they ended up with their education, they established something and they are today employers of labor. So what are we trying to say here? So I believe that we should get a thorough understanding of the subject matter and not to pin it down to a particular angle. No, we are saying get yourself well developed.
All right, let's hear you. Let's hear what you have to say.
She has said beautifully well, but I want to say something. Everything doesn't revolves around education. There is this man.
Hold on a little. Hold on, please. Hold on.
I'm coming. So there is.
Let's hear him first. Hold on.